Well, welcome everybody here on a Wednesday night on V Speed for the OB Builders Cup Series here on Wednesday night. You're watching the Ragin Cajun Bail Bonds 300 here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Well, we're just a 3 race away from crowning a champion, and tonight is going to be a very important race for quite a few folks who are trying to make it into the Final Four. Nobody locked in as of yet. We'll take a look at your, we'll take a look at the schedule in a minute, but take a look at your point standings. Randy Mullins came into the race in Vegas with a pretty substantial lead, but enters Homestead a little bit closer to that cutoff line, about 8 points closer than he was before. He was 26 the week before, now just plus 18. So he is not completely in on points. Everybody else, from Matt Cox to Brandon Bikey, it's going to be very important to get stage points. These first couple stages in this race are going to be extremely important, and where you finish, obviously, going to make a big difference. Kenny Coppola did not have a great race, lost a ton of points as he finished around the 20th position last week, and there he is, just +2 above the cutoff. A lot of guys with trouble. Justin Belmont there, he's going to have just incredible 2 races to get back into the fight, but it's likely he's going to need to win to get in this thing. So he's got a couple weeks to get that done. Tonight would be a great way to do it. Get this win out of the way, because when we go to Martinsville, all hell is going to break loose. Chris Davis, -28. That's surprising to see. Blaine Wilson been playing from behind the whole playoffs, and he's going to do it again tonight. Can he win his way in? Martinsville, if I'm going to put money on anybody, it's going to be Blaine Wilson winning at Martinsville. He's just been incredible here at these cutoff races. Been moving on to the next round. But you look at the guys who are in the top 4 as of now, and the guys that are out, it's pretty incredible how close it really is. And so it's going to be right down to the wire who's going to make it in the Final Four. And I couldn't tell you. I mean, Chris Davis is capable of winning. Justin Belmont capable of winning. Blaine Wilson obviously capable of winning. And then the rest of them have been fighting up front all season long. It's incredible how tight this round of 8 is. This is the best round. This has the best drivers, no doubt. And I expect them to show that here tonight. Well, let's take a look at where we are and where we've been. You can see a full schedule almost in the books, and we're down here at the end. Just 3 races remain: Homestead, Martinsville, and of course the championship 4 at Phoenix. Take a look at your racetrack here. Homestead, Miami. In Homestead, Miami, Florida, ain't nothing around here except for this badass racetrack. Put on one of the best races that we've seen this weekend, and tonight I'm expecting the same thing. Progressive banking between 18 to 20 degrees. You'll have plenty of speed up on the top side, plenty of speed down on the bottom, and it is 1.5 miles. It's not a D-shaped oval like what you see, or a quad oval like normal. It's just the old school style oval track, and it puts on some great racing just like it does in real life here in the next gen car. Well, just a few minutes, about a minute left before qualifying is over, and you can just take a look at that track, see how abrasive it is. And of course, we're going to be talking about guys running right up against the wall. iRacing actually has the cushion built into it a little bit. We don't know how I think they've been kind of incrementally pushing towards that. But they definitely have it where you can try to lean on that cushion. That's why those guys run the wall. It's almost you're packing a pressure of some air between the car and the wall, which helps turn the car. Basically, you get it right up against the wall. It creates a vacuum, I guess. I don't know, vacuum pressure. I don't know. Somebody can correct me. But basically, what it does, you just run against that wall. You keep your momentum up, and that cushion just kind of pushes you off the wall the closer you are. So. We'll see if anybody tries to get real close. iRacing a little bit different. It's not quite the same as it is in real life. You get into that wall a little bit, you'll be in big trouble. Let's take a look at your grid, though. We'll see who is going to start on the front row. And, well, you know what? Sometimes it's just no surprise. Kenny Coppola, after a bad race last week, going to come back firing all cylinders. Going to start out front with Alex Coffey in that number 15. Going to start outside of the front row. In row number 2, going to be Matt Cox and Brandon Bikey. In 5th, Aaron Matthews with Tim Wortman Jr. in the 6th position. In 7th, Randy Mullins with Paul Gallimore in 8th. In 9th, Shane Davis and Chris Davis going to start beside him in his number 74 Chevrolet Camaro. And that is a stacked top 10. Let's go to outside the top 10. Going to start in 11th. Going to be Warren Young. Brandon Fetterplace in 12th. In 13th is going to be Justin Belmont with Blaine Wilson in 14th. 15th, Barry Sanders. 16th, Jamison Middlemiss. 17th, Chris Spear with Jeffrey Taylor in 18th. 19th, Nick King with Johnny Shade in 20th. 21st, Jordan Schmeets. 22nd, Caden Norfrey. 23rd is Ed Bowles Jr. with Nigel Christensen in that 24th spot. Then rounding out the rear of the field is going to be Matt Mackin and Jared Clark. Well, let's bring somebody up into the booth. I want to talk to him here tonight, and let's see if we can maybe get some thoughts going into this race. And we're going to bring in Brandon Bikey up into the booth. Brandon, this is Eddie in the booth. Got a copy?
What up, man?
Man, well, it's good to talk to you. And tonight's going to be an important race. We got a couple races to the championship for. Obviously, you feel like you belong there, and I think your wins over the season definitely prove that. But into the round of 8, you come in -2 to the cutoff line. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? What's your plan tonight?
Well, I am just going to try not to get in any wrecks.
Well, you know, that's always a good start. But where do you go from there? You don't get any wrecks. Maybe you take off from the grid. Might be a good start, too.
Yep, having some difficulty.
Okay, well, you know what? I'm going to let you go while you get that fixed up. Good luck tonight, Brandon.
Thanks.
Well, we brought him up into the booth and already having some trouble, so maybe we'll talk to somebody else, although they're going to get ready to go green here. I don't know what's going on, but the broadcaster curse affecting more than just yellow flags and their performance of the race. Brandon Bikey not able to get his car going, so he was saying, I don't want to get into any wrecks, and then here we go, having issues on the start. His wheel is disconnected. That's what's going on right there. You can see his engine is revving up and his wheel is turned over to the right side, and that was just him not his wheel not being connected. So, man, unbelievable that we sat there and talked to him and brought him up into the booth, and then we see him having issues and -2 below the cutoff. Unbelievable. So Bikey in trouble here early at Homestead. We haven't even turned a single lap. All right, well, we're going to bring some more folks up into the booth and talk to them and get their thoughts on tonight. And we're going to bring up Chris Davis. We haven't talked to Chris Davis that much, and so we're going to bring him up into the booth. Chris, this is Eddie. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
I know y'all are trying to get figured out where y'all supposed to be after a little bit of incident there on pit road. But how you feel going into tonight? You're -28 below the cutoff. I know we're about to go green. Give me your quick thoughts.
Just stay out of trouble and get the best finish I can. This track is hard. Everybody gets loose up off the corner, so just try to keep it clean and stay towards the front.
All right. Well, good luck tonight, Chris.
Appreciate it.
There you have it, Chris Davis. Outside looking in, but up front, I mean, big development, obviously, and we'll talk more about that as we get more information. It looks like we will go around another time. So sorry, Chris. I think I could have kept you in here a little bit longer. Trying to figure out exactly what's going on, and Bikey has disconnected. So still trying to figure out what's going on. They have extended it another lap, so I think we will get the green flag here. But big development. I mean, we brought him in here to talk to him, and then the worst broadcaster curse. Unbelievable. So not the way he wanted to start his race, and he's not a lap down yet. So if he can come back in, he is connecting back in now. We'll see if they extend it another time. I mean, at some point we got to go racing, so I get where the admins might be coming from, but would like to see Bikey have a real shot, especially if he can get that wheel fixed. But a big development. I mean, my goodness, that couldn't have been any bigger for the playoff implications. And I mean, honestly, for Kenny Coppola, at this moment, if we go green here and Bikey's not able to get back on track, that will kind of give him a little bit of breathing room. All right, we will go around, looks like one more time maybe. So let's bring some folks up in here and talk to them. Let's bring Blaine Wilson up into the booth. Blaine Wilson, this is Eddie in the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, y'all are getting ready to go green here, and you're negative 21 below the cutoff. Still a couple races to go. I mean, this is not your race. You're going to win Martinsville, but what are you going to do tonight to try to set yourself up for a good Martinsville win?
Well, we're going to try to make it as dramatic as possible, so I'm going to go at least 40, 60 back, and then we'll show up at Martinsville and close it out there. But no, this is my least favorite mile and a half tied with or however long it is. I don't even know. I've only ran this track once, and it wasn't fun. So we're going to put it all on the line tonight. I'm not banking on Martinsville. I'm not a short track person, so we got to do it here.
All right. Well, hey, good luck tonight, Blaine. We're definitely looking forward to seeing what you can do.
Appreciate it.
All right, Blaine Wilson. Not a lot of confidence coming out of that guy, but you know what? Man, I don't know. I'd be so dang confident if I was him. He's just been lights out in this playoff. All right, this time I do think we're going to go green. We'll see if the pace car pulls off, and he does. So Bikey out of this one early. Unbelievable. But get ready. Green flag is out here at Homestead. 300 miles. Who's going to punch their ticket into the playoffs? Good start for Kenny Coppola. Exactly what he needed to get out front. Side by side for second is Alex Coffey and Matt Cox with Aaron Matthews there looking on. Paul Gallimore gained 3 spots there in the first corner as we watch this battle for second. Aaron Matthews way up the track using that outside early. Of course, we have talked about these 1.5 milers quite a few times, and so you've heard my broken record speech. But however, if you are a new viewer, I try to throw in things that maybe you've heard before, and some people might roll their eyes at some things that are completely obvious. Kind of like when they talk about the start-finish line in Talladega. It just seems so, of course we know that, but somebody might not know. And so we'll repeat this, where the outside is really fast. However, the outside burns your tires up. So you have to be careful when you decide to use that. You can use it to defend a position, especially later on in the run, or to make passes. It's a great way to make passes. But if you are running single file and you're not trying to make a move on anybody, right at the bottom gives you the best tire wear. So that's why you'll see guys sort of move around. As the run goes on, you might see somebody start to commit to the top if their setup allows for it. So guys gonna be running the bottom, trying to save a little bit of tire. And you might see how that outside line can defend a position here as Matthews looks down to the inside. You can see how quickly Alex Coffey was able to keep the momentum up. It's a game. You have to cash in whenever you're ready to make that outside work. You don't want to use it until absolutely necessary, because it will heat up the right front, make the car just not want to turn. Back here, we've got a really nice battle all the way through the field, 3 wide, sometimes 2 wide. You've got Shane Davis, and then look here, Blaine Wilson, 3 wide with Justin Belmont, Warren Young on the outside of him. Blaine Wilson going to back out of it there and say, let cooler heads prevail in that particular moment, and let's live to tell about it. If you're Justin Belmont, though, you're going all in. this race is going to be fun from his perspective. Now, it's not fun being out of the playoffs, but you know, the stress of trying to point your way in. I mean, just like Bikey here tonight, and the guys right around the cutoff, they're just taking it easy, trying to get stage points, but not putting themselves in harm's way. And you know, so it kind of is a restrictive way of driving. You have to, oh, I'm going to back off. Oh, I'm going to give space. Oh, somebody's getting loose. I'm going to, you know, check up, let a couple guys go. But not just to Belmont. Belmont, his ears pinned back. He's going as hard as he can. He's going to throw some wild strategy in there if he needs to. I mean, he's got so many options. He can be very aggressive because he's got to throw a Hail Mary to gain 41 points. He's basically going to need a win. So I'm excited to see what Belmont can do. Currently started in 12th, continuously running there. Hasn't moved up just yet. But I would expect to see some interesting strategy calls moving forward. No caution yet. That's great. I like to see these long runs, especially early in the race. Let's take a look at your race analysis here. And 200 laps, of course. Pit road speed 50 miles an hour. 6 tire sets if you need them. 1 green, white, checkered tip. And then, of course, all the rest of it you know, with stages at lap 45 and 90. So, stage point's going to be incredibly important. Kenny Coppola, you know, if I'm as fast as Kenny, I'm doing exactly this right here. All I'm trying to do is win as many stages as I can get as many of those stage points to help kind of widen that gap. Of course, with Bikey having trouble, I mean, that's pretty much with Bikey having trouble, that puts Kenny in a safe position inside the round of 4. If nobody wins from the bottom, if Blaine, Chris Davis, Justin Belmont, they don't win here tonight, he's going to go into Martinsville with a hefty lead above the cutoff. So that one issue with Brandon Bikey really turned the playoffs on its head and kind of made the picture a little bit more clear. You know, if you're Chris Davis, Blaine Wilson, Belmont, you don't have to win. You're not mathematically eliminated by points alone, but, you know, at this point, you've got to be thinking win, because Martinsville, you just don't know what's going to happen. Martinsville's on iRacing is really much like Talladega or Daytona. It's a wild and crazy mess. And anybody can come away with a victory, especially with no fast spray. You do see Bikey out on the track, able to get that thing back going. I mean, obviously, going to be driving pissed off. I mean, it's just nothing going to make you madder than having something like that happen before this race even starts on such an important race for him. But he's going to fight, man. A lot of these guys, I love it. There's a couple leagues that I broadcast where the guys will have trouble, just one issue. And they'll even have a fast repair, and they'll give it up and just quit because, oh, the race is not going the way I want to. These guys will fight. Now, we saw Kenny Coppola go back out on track. He was 70 laps down to gain 2 points, which, funny enough, 2 points is how much he was over the cutoff going into this race. Alex Coffey down to the inside, trying to use this dirty air that Bikey is putting on Coppola to his advantage. And Kenny obviously does not want to put Bikey a lap down. Another one, at least. Oh, and he's going to block him down into the corner. So Coffey not wanting to wait around, putting the pressure. And now I think Kenny just really doesn't have much of a choice. But I think Coffey's going to have a nice run here. They're going to go 3 wide. Might go 3 wide into the corner. They are. I don't think Coffey can hold this on the bottom. I think Kenny will come away with it, but Bikey's going to continue to fight. But Kenny going to get the run through the middle of the corner. And here comes Aaron Matthews with a run. He's not quite going to do it as Bikey's going to have that side draft's going to slow him down. But now still a battle for the lead. Side by side, Dig Esports, BMP. And I expect this is going to be very similar at Phoenix. We're going to see this right here. Coffey is so good in these situations. When it matters, Coffey's always there. And here he is down on the inside trying to make it work. Going to give him a wide berth off the exit of the corner. Use that side draft. It's a good run down the corner. But Kenny fighting on that outside, making it work for now. How long will they keep this up? This is going to pull everybody in. Chris Davis, Matt Cox, those guys going to join this battle if they keep running side by side. They're going to run about 2/10 slower every single lap when they're side by side. These next-gen cars have such a weird aero package as they're going to door bang a little bit. But at any track, you can lean over to that driver that's starting to pull ahead and kind of just almost like you got a hook on him and just yank him back a little bit, and it slows him down. And that's exactly what they're doing. Is you can see Chris Davis in the background, that pink car, is Coppola able to hang on to it this time. Here comes Bikey down to the inside. Coffee tried to throw a block there, but Bikey, you know, if you're Coffee, you don't like it because Bikey is 8 laps down. But Bikey has teammates, and Kenny is one of those teammates. So fighting these guys is good for Kenny. But also, Bikey would like to be 8 laps down. He's guaranteed if we don't lap anybody that he will get 2 of those laps back. So in this case, right now, he would be 7 laps down after 2 stages. But if we get more cautions, if there's 4 or 5 cautions, Bikey can make up these laps. I mean, it's not out of, it's definitely possible. And so if he can go up there and race his way back up to being 8 laps down, it's well worth it, especially in the position he is in. He's got to get everything he can do. Aaron Matthews, though, getting everything he can up on the outside, using that outside to his advantage. You can see he's going to get right up to the wall, using that outside, getting the run off the corner. We talked about the speed that you get, and he'll go down to the inside. I don't know if he'll complete this pass. He's got a massive run, though. We'll see if he can complete it. Kenny not going to allow that to happen. Sort of a mistake. Oh, he does get a great run through 3 and 4 from middle exit, though. I think Coffee is going to have the preferred groove here for now, at least. Man, look how close they are for the lead, side by side. And here comes Coffee and Bikey. And Aaron Matthews probably going to lose a couple spots. It's always tempting when you take that outside line, you get that run down the straightaway to pull out and go down to the bottom, but that's usually a move that just doesn't work out, especially as we cross over to lap 20 and the laps are really getting to the tires. That inside starts to not work as well. And you see Bikey up there making use of that outside line, getting a massive run. And look here. If he runs the wall in 1 and 2, we'll give you a little bit of, you don't see him do this on NBC. If he runs that outside line. See how close he gets to the wall. To let it drift up right up next to it. You see that seam right there? A faint little line there that his right front or right side tires is trying to be on the outside of. And if you put those right sides above it, you get a really nice rotation from middle exit. It is a blast for sure. Coppola holds on to the lead for now. And these guys back here kind of stalling themselves out. Matt Cox, Chris Davis battling each other. They were pretty close to running these guys down while they were battling side by side. But now as they've kind of settled it out, Kenny Coppola is starting to pull away. And now he's got his teammate Mikey in between him. Mikey going to get a run here. We'll see if he's willing to work with Kenny, if he's going to try to get out front. Obviously, Kenny would like to have the clean air. But one thing that could happen if you get a run off the top side, we saw Bubba. Whoa, my goodness. massive run for Bikey. I guess he's not going to do that. I don't know. What I would like to see him do is just get runs off the corner, push Coppola down the straightaway, and just keep doing that. Pull away from Coffee and Matthews. Use a little bit of teamwork here. Use that outside line run to his advantage. And then once they get to the stage, right before the stage is over, Kenny could let Brandon Bikey go and give him that extra lap as a lucky dog. That might be exactly what they were trying to do. Just almost a disaster, though. Now, something that might throw a little wrench in that plan is Caden Orfrey is on pit road right now. And I don't know what happened to Caden. I think he had some sort of issue. And let's go back and see what happened to Caden Orfrey as he's on pit road getting some damage fixed here. He is slow on the track already. He's coming down off of the track and not able to turn the car. You see that right front damage. Oh, man, and throws it up in the air. What happened to him? Oh, just gets loose off the corner, off of turn 2, hard into the outside wall. So he is sitting on pit road, and so now Bikey able to get around Kenny, and now it's just 8 laps down. But Caden Orfrey now on pit road. That makes him the lucky dog recipient if a caution does come out. So if Caden can get back out on track, that will effectively lock Brandon Bikey down. So that's not what he needed. That's for dang sure. Caden still sitting on pit road. In chat, good clean race so far. Yeah, I completely agree. This has been pretty incredible to watch. There's racing going on all over the track. Let's take a look here. Blaine Wilson, Brandon Fetterplace, and Shane Davis. Fetterplace has moved up a couple spots. Blaine Wilson, who we talked about, was kind of stuck there for a little bit. Now up into the 7th position, started in 14th. He is making moves here, doing exactly what he needs to do. He said it's not his favorite 1.5 miler, and it seems like whenever that's the case, you always do well. I cannot stand Iowa, can't stand New Hampshire, but I always seem to do well at those tracks. So I guess maybe it just requires a little bit extra focus. And see Shane Davis get a big run on Fetterplace here. Down to the inside is going to go Shane Davis, who I expect to see up front before this race is over with. The Trapper Keeper 79 machine. And you go back here, we got Justin Belmont and Randy Mullins. Randy dropped back a couple spots from where he started, starting to make those positions back up. Randy notorious for being sort of a, take your time type of Sunday driving type racer. That corner did not go well for him. Belmont able to get back up to the outside, but Randy Mullins not gonna start no fires. He's not gonna be Jimmy Spencer. He's not Mr. Excitement, that's for sure. He's definitely more of a Kevin Harvick, just kind of hang around, and all of a sudden when it comes down to that pay window, he'll be there. So the 54 continuing to try to work on Justin Belmont, who needs to be moving forward, not moving back. Well, while we were watching this, Alex Coffey was able to get around Kenny Coppola here. We'll take a look at that pass as we missed it. Replay here is Coffey looking down to the inside, and look at Kenny get loose there off of turn 4. Tried to gas it up. Matthews going to give him a bump, but that was enough for Alex Coffey. to make the move, and now he controls the race out front. And then now we got Matt Cox joining this battle. He's finally caught up to this front group and has been working this outside. Look at this son of a gun up on the high side. Look at the run that you get. Look how loose he is, leaning on that right rear. They're going to go to the inside of Aaron Matthews. See if Matthews is going to fight hard. He's going to drive it pretty deep into the corner. I think Matthews will be able to hold him off as tires are starting to wear out pretty badly. The cars are just not going to want to drive off of the bottom. Golly. Woo! Matt Cox 8 above the cutoff, taking some chances there. I like it. So a 4-car battle for the lead. Coffee gets the lead, but not able to pull away. And we kind of saw this at Vegas. Clean air is nice for handling, but it seems like with the draft, you know, being out front can also sometimes be a sort of a detriment. Not so much here, but at Vegas, it was definitely that way. You got out front, it seemed like you just punching a big old, it was like a super speedway, and you almost didn't want to be out front. Right now, Coffee trying to slowly sneak away. Seems like he's got pretty good long run speed built into this setup. And Kenny was a little bit looser than he wanted. He mentioned last week at Vegas, kind of missed the setup, had to make some changes during the race because he did not expect the temperature to be what it was at Vegas. And so he had to work on the car and had gotten it pretty well, you know, kind of fixed up. And we'll see if tonight he's got to do the same thing because he was definitely loose off the corner. Let's go on board. See, very careful on the throttle. 1 and 2 is a fun corner. You drive down in there and you can do all kinds of stuff in 1 and 2. 3 and 4 is a very awkward corner because it kind of drives in there and almost very subtle, but there's like a kind of a cut to the left. Watch it here as we go down into 3 and 4. You're going to see sort of a light area right at the, not right here, but watch right about here. Then it kind of cuts back, and you can see Kenny actually gets a little bit loose in that moment. That part of the track can be a little bit nervous as you're going through it. So 1 and 2, man, you can really get on the throttles, on the high line, on the bottom. It feels really good all the way through. But 3 and 4, you have to wait on it almost. You have to drive down into 3 and 4, wait on that sort of where it cuts, because if you get on the throttle too soon and you're in the throttle, you go through that zone, it will start to come around as the grip kind of increases there. So it's very awkward how you have to run 3 and 4. You get up around the wall, it really doesn't have that issue, but down in the middle lane on the bottom, it can definitely be sketchy. So you have to wait on that throttle a little bit more than you'd like to. But Kenny trying to keep pace with Alex Coffey, who has pulled out to a 1/6 of a second advantage. Let's go back here. Battle inside the top 10. This is Blaine Wilson, Feder Place, and Randy Mullins. Mullins going to get to the outside of Feder Place, who's starting to fall back just a little bit. As, man, Kenny continues to struggle here at the end of this stage. Matt Cox going to go around him. You can see he was a little bit loose, and so he's going to fall back to third. We'll go back to this battle as Randy Mullins continues his march inside the top 10, now looking to take over that 8th position. Now, Randy running that top side. There ain't nothing wrong with running the top side when you got 5 laps to go. You're not trying to save any kind of tire. Gonna drive down to the bottom here. They go into 3 and 4. I think Blaine was really trying to defend there I think Randy wanted to go to the top side for sure, but he assumed Blaine was going to block it off, and then Blaine just kind of mirror driving. But Randy going to have position on the inside, but look at Blaine Wilson right up against the wall. This is why we love it right here. This is why Homestead is so much fun. And it's weird to hear people say that they don't enjoy this track, because it's a blast to be able to race like this side by side. You're not slowing each other. Like these guys, I mean, they're kind of slowing each other up just a little bit, just based on exit. But they're really not too much. You can run like this and it not be detrimental to your race. Being able to run so far apart. Blaine Wilson right up against the wall. Barely any room. Making it work. Randy going to keep trying, though, but going to have to give it up here. You see almost a car length as they go into 3 and 4. I want to thank the sponsor for tonight's race, Ragin, Cajun Bail Bonds. You know, if you're at the Taylor Swift's concert this past weekend in New Orleans, you might need Ragin Cajun Bail Bonds, depending on what you did after the fact. If you ever get in a tight spot, I don't really know where Ragin Cajun bail bonds. I just assume Louisiana. I'm assuming it is. But if you ever get in trouble, you know who to call. Mullins continues to try to find a way around Blaine here at the end of this stage. These points ever so important for these guys. Not so much for Mullins, but I mean, these guys up front can definitely close the gap on him and make Martinsville a little bit nervous for Randy. So anything he can get is important. Right now, 6.7 seconds back is Randy Mullins to your leader, Alex Coffey, who has now pulled out to a 1.5 seconds over Matt Cox, who Coffey really is putting down some exceptional lap times here at the end of this run. Well, lap 45, they'll go around. Ed Bowles Jr. might have had some sort of issue. He is slow on the track. Oh, man, and Bikey loose off the corner. Ah, goodness. And Johnny Shade has gone a lap down, and that's going to give him the lucky dog. Brandon Bikey not going to get it. But coming off the corner, Alex Coffey with a 1.7 second lead over Matt Cox. He's going to take the stage 1 win and all the points and stuff to go with it. Well, Alex Coffey doing exactly what he needs to do in this race. Got up there, battled for position, had to deal with some lap traffic. Was battling with Aaron Matthews and Coppola, able to get by them on this long run and takes the stage. So now pit stops coming up. Johnny Shade will be your lucky dog. So Brandon Bikey not able to make up a single lap. Of course, he did do a great job staying out in front of the leaders. So he will get caught up to the back of the field, but still 8 laps down. As they get caught up here. More tires and fuel, obviously going to be the call here. You do not want to be giving up lap time. No scenario where you don't take tires at the stages. Coffey going to lead them down onto pit road. Yeah, everybody except for Johnny Shade, who will be your lucky dog, stays out on the track. A couple guys getting real close to those barrels there. You got to be careful with that. Now, Bikey should get 1 lap back. I don't know what he's going to do. He might try to stay out. Hopefully there's a quick caution, because Johnny Shade will get the lucky dog. And then Shade's going to get the lucky dog. He'll be able to pit, but if Mikey wants to get one of those laps back, he's going to have to. He's going to take the wave around here and try to get back only lap, but it means he can't pit. I don't know what he's going to do here. I think he kind of, I don't know. I don't know what he does. The pit road will be open this time by for him. We'll see if he decides to do that. But I do think that maybe you try staying out, hope that there's a caution, a quick caution. You'll get a one lap back, get to come down pit road. We'll see what he does here. But Matt Cox does win the battle off pit road. And you see Mikey going to stay out, is going to take the wave around and hope for that caution. So Matt Cox will be your new leader, but Alex Coffey was your stage 1 winner. Let's bring him up into the booth and let's talk to him. Alex, is Eddie in the booth? Got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Well, hey, very good start for you. You started in second. You fell back just a little bit, but saved those tires, and you came back just roaring by those guys with a lot of speed, and you're really quick there at the end of the run. Talk to me about that first stage.
Yeah, it went pretty good. Feeling real good about the setup. Driving like a dream right now. I don't know how this drop of track tempo feel, but yeah, I'm liking everything so far.
Well, you did exactly what you needed to do. You came into this race with not much of an advantage. You really can't afford big mistakes, but +7 above the cutoff, and with Mikey having his trouble, it kind of makes things a lot easier. So, now you're not too stressed out about points. You don't really have to worry, and you get the stage 1 win, and you're in pretty good shape. Are you care about points at all? Are you thinking about it at all, or are you just kind of just going for it?
You definitely got to think about it. Definitely still not comfortable situation for points. So we're going to try to go for the sweep here.
All right, well, looking pretty good. That 15 Toyota Camry looks pretty fast. Good luck, Alex.
Appreciate it.
Big esports driver, Alex Coffey. He never really gets too high, too low. We've definitely seen him get angry or upset on the track just by his actions, but you wouldn't be able to tell it by his the way he talks and his conversations, especially when he gets into. He's just kind of almost just matter of fact, just like, well, we can't not worry about it. We got to worry about it. We just got to go up here and get it done. And I don't know. I'd love to see him win the race and see if he actually cheers. I don't think he does. I think he's the type of guy that crosses the start-finish line after winning a big race like a championship, doing a little small thumbs up, and then just kind of, all right, guys, good race. But I think that demeanor is what makes him such a good driver. I mean, he can stay calm. His adrenaline probably doesn't get too high where he starts making too many mistakes. He can make some really, really good moves on the track. So maybe that's part of it. Coppola going to start third. Matt Cox going to lead him down to the green flag as Coffey going to start outside the front row. Stage number 2. Green flag is out. Late in the box goes Matt Cox, trying to get the biggest advantage as he can. And that is going to give him a massive jump, and Coffey not prepared for that as he's going to try to get a run through 1 and 2. The first turn, they drive right down to the bottom. And you see Aaron Matthews, he ain't playing around. He's going to go right up to the top, get a massive run. Going to continue that battle. And that's the tough thing about trying to save tires at a place like this is everybody's got their own strategy, what they're looking to do. Matthews, man, getting up there. My goodness. But you want to save tire. You need to save those tires. But, if these guys get up here and get aggressive, the ones behind you, they'll drive right by you, and you end up losing 3 or 4 spots. You have to get back later. So it can be a tough deal. Man, Chris Davis gets really sketchy off that corner and almost loses it. So the 74 going to drop back quite a few spots there. Able to save it, though, right in front of his teammate. You're going to have to fight back, but those cold tires will get you if you ain't careful. Up front, though, Cox able to pull away. just by the slightest of margins. Coffee now going to fall back to third after winning that stage. The biggest mover of the race is, of course, Blaine Wilson. We've talked about multiple times. He's doing exactly what he needs to do and putting himself in a position. I mean, at this point, if you're up in the top 5, you have an opportunity to win. That's all you got to do. You got to give yourself an opportunity because so many things can happen in this series. As competitive as it is, and as aggressive these guys are, how bad they want to win. I mean, there's a lot on the line here, and so anything can happen. You talked about, or if you paid attention to any podcast or anything about NASCAR, Denny Hamlin said, going into the final corner of the last lap, he kind of backed off a little bit because he expected those guys to just go in there and clear each other out, and he's going to drive right on by. So anything can happen in these races. You just got to be up there. You got to be in the mix. And right now, Blaine Wilson is exactly that. Well, as far as Bikey goes, hoping for that quick caution, is not going to get it. And likely going to have to come down pit road the next 15 laps or so. Not what he wanted to see, but he's just hoping that somebody will have some sort of issue here and we get a caution. He can get another one of those laps back, but eventually he's going to have to come down pit road, and that's going to end up losing another lap. So he's hoping for a caution. Back here, you got Gallimore going down to the inside of Randy Mullins. I don't know if it's just a fall off of his supporters in chat or what, but Randy has not been as dominant and not up front as normally like he usually is at Vegas. I don't think I'm speaking out of turn by saying he was sort of a non-factor for the race. He had a massive point lead, so obviously there's some strategy there he is doing to just kind of maintain that. But I mean, he lost, a few points to Matt Cox there. So it's definitely something he's got to, he's trying to protect a massive point lead, but he's getting just a few stage points running around the top 10. We expect him to be up at the front, but that just didn't happen in Vegas. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I don't really know what's going on. If it's setup wise, if it's just not having a good couple weeks. But I expect to see Mullins up at the front, and I was expecting that last week, and it just didn't happen. And tonight, just seems to be protecting that points lead, just trying to have good finishes. And every single restart, he's lost a couple spots. But hey, I'm not going to doubt your regular season champion. He knows exactly what he's doing. And I said before, early on in this race, I expect to see him up front by the time this thing is over. Speaking of up front, it is still sort of a 4-car breakaway as Aaron Matthews still running that outside line. He's going to get a massive run here on Coffee. Not quite ready to use that outside line in 3 and 4. But 1 and 2, he's been running almost every single time. This time I'm going to fall in line. And look at them. They are, my goodness, they are nose to tail. As here comes Coffee down to the inside. Matthews can't decide where he wanted to go, and Coffee drives right around the 77. Going to take over that second spot. Now Matthews going to look down to the inside, take that number 5 machine. He has been trying to get up to the lead, just can't quite get there. He's been searching around, trying to find a little bit of space that he can get that number 5 Chevrolet up front, but hasn't really gotten much closer to second as, man, Alex Coffey. Once you get some heat in the tires, that 15 just comes alive, and he is now looking to the inside of Matt Cox. These two have a lot of history. They always seem to find each other, and that's the way that it goes. Anytime you have any kind of issue with somebody on track, you'll be racing around them the next week almost every single time. But this time, no issues out of either one of them. Coffee able to take the lead. And right now, kind of setting himself apart as the one to beat, is now Matthews going to go down to the inside. Here comes Blaine Wilson and Shane Davis. Shane Davis is another one of those sneaky drivers that will kind of not qualify well, but he'll always end up at the end of the race winning the dang thing. Well, as the battle inside the top 10 just continues to be outrageous. Cars just all over. I mean, nobody's able to get a break. I mean, Coffee got a nice break at the end of the first stage. He was out to about a 1.7 second lead as everybody's tires start to fall off. But right now, it's just everybody's on top of each other. I cannot wait to get to Phoenix and see who's going to win this championship, because I just don't think it's clear. I can sit here and think of everybody in the round of 8 being, obviously Randy Mold's with the regular season championship is an easy choice, but I just can't say based on the last couple weeks' performance that he would be considered a favorite going into Phoenix. That's the crazy thing about these one race championships is, Randy Mullins had a season that you would definitely say he is championship worthy, but it doesn't matter what you did in the regular season once you get to the playoffs. Stage points mean everything. And being able to get up here and get wins means everything, because once you get to Phoenix, you got to go out there and win that race, most likely win the championship. So running back in 12th at Phoenix is not going to do him any good. So I don't know. I don't know if he is the kind of favorite at the moment. I know everybody in chat will probably disagree, but it's hard for me to say who exactly is the favorite. I mean, Coffee has been really, really good. Matt Cox has been really good here lately. Kenny had some trouble last week, but he's up front every single week. I really don't know who's the favorite for the championship at the moment. It could be a lot of folks. And, if Blaine Wilson gets in there, he's the Hail Mary King. He could definitely rattle off a win. So, Chris Davis, plenty fast to do it. Justin Belmont, those guys, I'm not real sure. Of course, Alex Coffey is he's no stranger to having issues on the track. He definitely lets his temper get the best of him, makes contact. When somebody makes contact with him, he always has to kind of give it back. That can always, not really bode well for a championship race, especially if you build up enemies, people that are frustrated with you going into the final race. And especially in that final race, they rough you up a little bit. You lose your cool, that you could lose the championship. So this is just one of the most stacked round of 8s I've seen in a long time. It's a dang coin flip on who's going to win this thing. Coffee not quite pulling away as now Matt Cox starting to fall off just a little bit. Aaron Matthews looking to the inside, and Kenny Coppola starting to close onto the back bumper of the 15 ever so slightly, about 0.2 seconds. He was faster that last time as we watch this battle from fourth on back. Matt Cox trying to hold on to this third position. Brandon Fetterplace. Brandon Fetterplace. Kind of scooting up in here too. Well, you wonder if Coppola made any changes there on that pit stop. The good thing about open setups on iRacing is that you can make changes. You can make a plethora of different changes on pit road, what they can make in real life. I mean, you can affect the wedge of the car. You can affect the air pressures, multiple different things. And I would definitely say if you're not close already, you're not going to gain any major swings on pit road with what iRacing has available. It's very small changes, but you can make some. So if you just need that little bit of extra grip on the long run, you can sort of play around with that, lower the tire pressure just a little bit, give up a little bit of turn to maybe not balloon that right rear out as much, but we'll see if Kenny made the right adjustments. Obviously, a lot of these guys are going to have setups maybe from setup shops that iRacing has. Go buy a setup from somewhere that somebody has put a lot of time into, or if you're Kenny Coppola, you just make them yourself. And so that knowledge that he has kind of gives him an advantage. Yeah, you can go buy a fast setup, but if you know how to work them, you understand what the changes mean, then, hey, you've got an opportunity to make changes during the race. And we'll see. Only 26 laps into this stint right here. As we got closer to 40, Kenny started to get a little bit too loose, started to fade. We'll take a look at the weather here, the track temp. 101. That's not too. Getting a lot of cloud cover, too, is Kenny chasing it up the track, getting a little bit loose in the middle of the corner. But track temp's fine. 101, pretty, you know, I'm sure some people would love for it to be in the 70s, like a night race. It'll be around the 70 to 75 degree range. But in the daytime, 101 degree for a track temp, not too bad. I have seen some races that have 130 degrees. That is bad. That is a whole different level. But this track just doesn't have that much grip. It just natively, you get here, it's a older surface, very abrasive. Wears the tires out, which you love, but also just constantly fighting for grip. And see Shane Davis back here in the 79 machine getting loose off the corner. So it's starting to affect some of these drivers to push a little bit too hard, push that right rear a little bit too hard. We're starting to feel it now as we get close to about 30 laps here on this run. And you see Kenny sort of running a wider exit than Coffee here. Coffee rolling off the corner sort of low here. And Kenny does it this time. So I don't know if he's still chasing the rear end of that car. If you start to get loose, you kind of have to straighten the car out just a little bit. But the last couple times we've seen Kenny kind of widen this exit here. Look at him. Now, I like what Coffee is doing more. He's shortening up the track. You know, going all the way out to the wall that early is definitely making the track longer. But he may just be trying to get some air on the front end of that car, give him a little bit extra downforce to work with. He's keeping up with Coffee at the moment, but just doesn't seem like he has the car to really get up there and battle with Coffee. Charles Kitchen says, how many laps next segment? Well, the stage break is at lap 90, so we'll have a couple laps under caution, probably about 3. So we'll have about 107 laps on the final stage before we get to the end of this thing. So going to be a long, long run, and we're definitely going to see what these tires can do at the end of a run like that. I mean, it's so far been caution free outside of the stage break. Take a look here. See that one caution, and that was for the stage, but relatively clean race. could go the distance, which we love to see. Well, you know, we've seen, you know, next week you're going to get plenty of cautions. We're going to get, I think, earlier in the season, that race was about near 3 hours long, as there were 36 cautions in that race, or 34, 35, somewhere around in there. Pretty crazy. Really tough race to watch. So hopefully that won't be the case, but I've never seen a clean Martinsville race on iRacing. So well, everybody keeping distance is man, Coppola going real wide on those exits there. Matthews gets loose trying to go to the inside of Johnny Shade, and you know, an update on Brandon Bikey. He has called it quits. He's out of it. With Shade going a lap down as quickly as he has, no caution there. Bikey was going to have to pit, and just a frustrating, unbelievable development for him. As we brought him up into the booth to talk to him as he was getting ready to pull off the grid, was just rolling out from the pit road exit. And we pull him up in here, and the wheel I guess his wheel just completely died on him. And he could not get going. Field had to go around, be disconnected, came back, and oh man, as Kenny Copeland's going to get into the wall as Matt Cox goes to the inside. Just a little kiss, and Cox is going to be able to complete that pass. Lucky he didn't get stuck to it. But yeah, I mean, just a disastrous race for Bikey. He said he wanted to stay out of trouble, and the first thing that happened, right as he got that out of his mouth, he had trouble. Mechanical issues, so. Thank God that iRacing doesn't put in random mechanical issues. Because, gosh, I can't imagine how frustrating that would be. And I know it happens in real life, but that's why I think iRacing doesn't do that, is because you can have a wheel go wrong. You have an internet get disconnected. You know, your dog or cat could jump up in your lap, and your screen could go blank. I mean, there's all kinds of mechanical issues that we have on online sim racing. So I'm glad that the random, you know, tire failures or random motor, motor expirations don't happen, because it would be even more frustrating. So, well, Kenny Coppola has dropped back. You can see that he has not fixed the handling of this machine. As we get closer to lap 40 here, close to the end of this stage, you can see he is struggling with the exit drive off. He is just does not have the rear grip that he needs. You see he's chasing it up the track, because when he's trying to get on the throttle here, look at him, he's getting loose. And I think he's been trying to compensate by taking a little wider exit when he was behind Alex Coffey. But Coppola just does not have drive off. You see when he picks up the throttle here, he's having a counter steer as the car just wants to come around. That is a lot. So he is extremely loose. And now he's going to have Blaine Wilson all over his back bumper. I mean, Blaine Wilson, man. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I mean, he's a great driver, but he is doing everything right in these playoffs. It's not been easy, but he is doing everything right. If he gets the finish here tonight, if he can finish in the top 3, I mean, that's going to be a major swing for him for the playoffs. He's gotten stage points the last stage. He's going to get stage points if he can stay where he's at right now, major points. And if he can get up there and get the win, that obviously that's what I'm expecting from the 18. But, man, looking fast early. Up 11 spots is Blaine Wilson from the start of the race. Coppola now trying the outside, getting tired of getting a little bit loose on the bottom, trying to come up off that bottom line, use the outside line. That way you keep the speed up. But if you're struggling for rear grip, I don't think you're going to find it on that outside line, as it can get just as sketchy as it does on the bottom. Alex Coffey holds on to a second lead over Matt Cox. Matt Cox has about 0.8 of a second back to Blaine Wilson, as we have, well, just a couple more laps before we end stage number 2. Go back here. We got Belmont and Mullins battling yet again. They were battling at the end of the previous stage, so Randy was able to get back to 8th. That's kind of where he finished in that first stage. So he's doing a great job, and honestly, not quite running the leaders' times, but he is running fast enough time to be running in the top 5. So if he can keep that long run speed here for this final stage, he'll be in great shape. But Alex Coffey comes through 3 and 4, and he will, without much trouble at all, win both stages. So a sweep for Alex Coffey as he comes across the line. We have to wait till 10th place. Chris Davis crosses the line, but Alex Coffey, stage number 2 winner. And he's going for a max points day to give him a huge buffer going into Martinsville. But Coffey wins stage number 2. Car looks really, really fast. Got a lot of folks in chat cheering on their driver. Charles Kitchen says, go Alex. Kelly Coffey, obviously a huge Kenny Coppola fan. So Kelly Coffey pulling for Kenny. Reed Williams says, I'm digging the Alex Coffey show right now. And that's exactly right. That is what it is. 15 has been dominant, especially later in these tire runs. And Mike Coppola says, hang on, Kenny, a couple more laps. Need to make the right adjustments. So I like the comments in chat. Everybody cheering on the driver. Randy Mullins. Doug Selner says the 54 will be there at the end. All right, coming down pit road, Alex Coffey going to lead Matt Cox, Blaine Wilson, Kenny Coppola, and Aaron Matthews, your top 5. And these guys are going to come down pit road, 4 tires and fuel, and set themselves up for the longest run of the night. And probably the most important pit stop right here. Do not want to make any mistakes. Definitely don't want to speed. Don't want to miss your box, slide through your box. You want to get in there and get stopped and get gone. And set yourself up for a long run. I think we'll see it all kind of calm down. Normally it does here in the final stage. Everybody sort of takes a chill pill. You see Blaine Wilson is already released. And, oh, man, great battle there as Alex and Matt actually come out almost identically together. It looks like the top 5 will continue to stay the same. Nobody doing any kind of crazy moves. Let's see if we can talk to Kenny Coppola. He may not want to talk, but we're gonna force him to and bring him up into the booth. Kenny, this Eddie in the booth got a copy.
What's going on, Eddie?
Well, wanted to talk to you. You know, you've had a pretty good car so far. Seems like the long run you're struggling. What do you need to do to try to get this 77 to be able to make it, you know, a good long run here?
Don't make nose weight changes before the race untested. I don't think there's anything I'm gonna be able to do to fix this car. I took a couple clicks of nose weight out of it before the race because I figured the track was gonna tighten up, and well, she has no rear grip, so I'm just hanging on for dear life. Try to finish the best I can. Brandon had a crummy start to his night, and he just packed it up and went home, so I'm fighting with him in the points right now, so I'm sitting all right. Kind of sucks for him. Wish we could have raced it out for that final spot in the playoffs, but yeah, we're just made a couple adjustments. Hopefully the track cools down a little bit and our rear tires grip up some.
Yeah, well, there's a little bit of cloud cover. Maybe that'll stay for a little while and help you out. We're going to have the longest run of the race probably come up pretty soon. So hopefully those adjustments work, and good luck the rest of the race, Kenny.
Appreciate it, Eddie.
There you have it. Kenny, disappointed that he's not going to get to battle his teammate, but it does give him some, you know, nice breathing room for the cutoff. And, you know, he's got the right mindset. You know, it's so tough because sometimes your right foot and your brain don't really agree with each other. And Kenny seems like he's a smart fella where he knows that he may not have the car to win this race, but he doesn't need to win. He just needs to finish. He definitely doesn't need to spin out, wreck, have an issue that takes him out of the playoffs entirely. So Kenny's smart. He'll do what he can. We'll see if those adjustments help. Here right now, though, is all the Alex Coffee Show. Matt Cox was able to hang on a little bit, but Coffee just seems like once you get to lap 15 on, he is unbeatable. I haven't seen really anybody that can match what he's got going on. I'm excited to see if Randy Mullins can get up there and show his long run strength. And Blaine has been really fast too. So Dig Esports looking to be the stars of the show tonight. We'll see if anybody, Matt Cox or Aaron Matthews, can get in there and kind of throw a monkey wrench in their plans. But you got Warrior Racing, Justin Belmont there, and then you've got who else? Aaron Matthews for Bad Boy Racing. Kelly Coffee says, nothing against Kenny, of course, but you know who I'm cheering for, Eddie. Well, green flag back out. Coffee, Blaine Wilson working together on that restart. We'll see if Blaine can get clear for a second, and he does. We'll see if he can clear him off the exit, and he is going to take over second spot. So a little bit of teamwork there on the restart. I love to see that, man. I love to see teams working together. And look at Randy Mullins down to the inside, making it 3 wide, passing Shane Davis and Belmont. Wondering when Randy was going to come up here and be a factor. And boom, here it is. 6th place for Randy Mullins as battle for the lead going to continue on. Blaine going to play defense, let Coffee start to pull away. Well, I can't tell you how disappointed I am as a broadcaster and as a viewer. You know, yes, I talk over the race. Yes, I point the cameras and put all the graphics up on the screen. But it's basically I'm watching the race along with you guys, and I get invested. I get invested in these championships. I don't have a favorite. You know, I definitely, as a broadcaster, have to stay impartial quite a bit as Barry Sanders sets the fastest lap of the race. Back in 20th position. But, yeah, I have to be impartial, so I don't have any favorites. But I do like to see good competition, good racing, and for Bikey to have that trouble and be out of it, definitely disappointing to me because I know just how competitive he is every single week. And, you know, Martinsville, he still has a chance. He's definitely not out of it. But it definitely takes the win. It's almost like you have you blew up a balloon, but you didn't tie it off just yet, and you kind of just let it go, and it goes kind of what it did to this cutoff with Bikey having that trouble. So you're going to have basically 4 drivers for the most part. They're going to be in a must-win situation at Martinsville, which should be the right amount of TNT to make that race even more exciting than it already would have been. Mike Coppola says, loose is fast. Yes, it is. Loose is fast and on the edge, out of control, baby. As Aaron Matthews gets a massive run and Blaine Wilson cuts him off. Matthews didn't quite have the run maybe he thought he had or had to lift. Not really able to do anything with it. You know, I definitely think back in the day, loose was fast. When you're tight, you can't overcome that with throttle. You can't just drive through it. When you're loose, you have that little bit of extra that you can do something with. But in the next gen car, you know, if this was the ARCA car, the ARCA Menards car, which is the old Cup car, those cars are yawed out and they are built to be loose. They got that right rear stuck out. You know, it's just you drive down the corner and you look like you're spinning out just based on the way your viewpoint is out the front windshield. And so you know, definitely was loose as fast. But here in the next gen car, it's not quite the same way with that independent rear suspension. Loose is scary, is what it is. It's not fast. It's scary as hell because it doesn't take one small, step out, run wrong, not counter steering just the right amount, and these cars will just go around. So the next gen has kind of thrown NASCAR for a loop as far as what used to be fast and what what you had to do to drive these cars, and they're just so much more sensitive. You really don't want to be either. You want to be neutral. I feel like you don't want to be loose. You don't want to be tight. You want to try to find some sort of neutral feel, so you keep the car under you, but you get the most grip off the corner and generate the most speed. But up front, Coffee still holds the lead. See some guys kind of peeking out up front, but everybody relatively single file as Kenny has dropped back to that 5th position. Obviously thinking about the long run. This should be the longest run that we see all night long. Now in real life, the tires are so bad that they were coming down pit road on lap 34, 33. But on iRacing, a lot of guys elect not to do that. So I think we should see folks go to lap 50 or so. Going to be hectic, but back here we got 3 wide. This is Randy Mullins, Gallimore, and Jeffrey Taylor with the 83 of Tim Wortman Jr. trying to see where he fits in. And then Brendan Fetterplace, who's up inside the top 10 before that last pit stop. And Randy Mullins going to fall back to 13th. Obviously, Randy saving his stuff, knowing that this could be the longest run of the night. And you might have a couple of them to make. So he's going to hang on to it as much as you can. But look how tight the top 6, 7 is. Pretty incredible. And Coffee, it's I don't know. It's hard to explain to viewers, and I don't do always a great job of explaining what's going on track. But you have to save, but you also have to maintain track position. So there is your balance. That's what you're fighting here if you're Coffee. You're trying to save tires as close as these guys are in speed and talent. If a guy can ride behind you and save tires and just ride behind you, if they save more than you, they'll have a faster car at the end of the run. So you have to make that balance of, I've got to save, but if I start to lose 2 or 3 spots, I need to fight a little bit to maintain that track position. So it's a constant battle. These guys are not just out there for a Sunday drive. They are, the wheels are spinning constantly, trying to just decide what's the best thing. Like right here, what does Blaine Wilson do? Does he fight for this 2nd position, or does he just let Aaron Matthews go? Well, he's seen that Aaron Matthews has been fast early on in runs, but has started to fade at the end of them. So do you let that guy get in front of you and potentially hold you up, or do you fight? Those are all decisions that you have to make here. It seems like, well, I could just let this guy go, but if you see there's 6 cars lined up behind Aaron Matthews. So if I let him go and Cox gets a run here, well, now all of a sudden I'm in a position where I'm fighting every single lap trying to maybe find a spot to get back in. So it's not easy to save tire and also be fast, maintain track position all at the same time, as here comes Aaron Matthews with a big run again. Blaine Wilson going to cover that off. Matthews really been trying to sneak up there. I can't tell if he's just poking his nose out for a little bit of extra downforce, or if he is trying to get to that right rear quarter panel of Blaine. The 5 has really been showing that he likes to run that outside line. It's obviously been tearing his tires up, and he doesn't want to do that now. But if he can sneak up to the outside and get that spotter call, these guys have automatic spotters. Sometimes they will have somebody in their ear telling them stuff, but iRacing has a built-in spotter. And so, if he can get to the right rear quarter panel of Blaine Wilson, he'll get that spotter call of Blaine Wilson where he'll say car outside, and then Blaine has to give up that position, or has to at least give him the outside. And so I can't decide if that's what he's trying to do just to get that outside. But now he's just going to go ahead and commit up there. And Blaine Wilson sees it coming and says, oh, no, sir, I'm not giving you the outside. Goes up there, slides up in front of him. And Blaine right on the door of the 5, just putting him in an uncomfortable situation. These guys watch real NASCAR all the time. They know exactly the tools and stuff in the bag that they need. You can see Matthew still trying to sneak up there, get to the outside. If he can get to the outside of Blaine, he will be able to likely get that position. But Blaine doing a great job. He's letting the 5 get a massive run off the rim, and then he's getting a run. Blaine's pulling up in front of him, forcing him to go to the inside, and then driving down on his door, not allowing him to get any kind of side force that he needs. That outside line just too strong. So Blaine Wilson doing a great job. Here goes Aaron Matthews, going to give it another shot. We'll see if he can clear him off the corner. Hasn't been able to just yet. Big run. Blaine Wilson covers it, and Aaron Matthews didn't really get that big of a run there. So little small games that are being played. I love it. That's why we love Homestead. You have the ability to do things like this, and Matthew's trying every damn thing he can to get around this 18 as Coffee now out to an 8/10 of a second lead, or 7/10 of a second lead here on lap 114. And there is the 5 trying. You see, that's exactly what he is trying to do. He's trying to get to the outside of the 18. There is no other explanation for running this line. He's just trying to get there. If he can get that spotter call, and he might get it right here. Oh, he is there. Blaine's going to try to cover it, and he does. Woo! Very close. Going to push him into the corner. And very close the 5 was to getting to the outside of the 18. The 18's got to be careful. He cannot allow for that to happen. At this point, 20 laps into the run, the bottom is still really quick. But if you're getting past, you won't likely want to be on the outside. So if Blaine gets caught on the inside here, you can see Matt Cox, you see Kenny Coppola right behind him. And he could end up going from 2nd all the way back to 5th in a single corner or a couple corners. So you're going to have to be careful not to let that 5 sneak up there and get that position like he almost did. Somebody said something is wrong with the 54. We'll kind of jump off of this. We've been talking about this battle for a while, and we go back here to Randy Mullins. Something is wrong with the 54 is what they said in chat. Now you see Nigel Christensen right behind him getting extremely loose. Now I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced he's not taking it easy, because he has done that every single. Now there's no way that Randy Mullins is 4/10 of a second off of the leader. Going on board with him now just to see if there's any fuel saving or anything. I don't know what they can do as far as making it on fuel. And he might just be thinking about the long run. He's done this every single time now. It's the furthest back he's been. He's fallen back to about 12th early on in the runs. But he's running a 33.8. And the leaders are running right around the 33.8 mark. So at lap 26, maybe Randy starting to trend in the right direction. So not really sure what's going on with him. There might be some fuel saving. Oh, being aggressive with the tire saving. Not quite sure. As they go up here to the front, it's still a hornet's nest as Blaine Wilson maybe holding these guys up just a tad. Matthews just not been able to find a way around, and guys are going to start getting impatient. But we're definitely getting to the point of the race where the tires are starting to fade. And if you push them too hard, you're going to have a bad time. 45 laps on the first stage, about 42 in the second. And this will be the longest run that we'll see tonight if we stay green. I'm expecting to go at least another 25 laps or so. And the tires will not be happy. And I think we'll quickly see who, in the next 10 to 15 laps, who has saved their tires, who's made the right adjustments. Obviously, Alex Coffey has been strong from this point on all race. And he's showing that right now, 1.4 seconds ahead. But I'll be interested to see if Randy Mullins is definitely just saving as much as possible and try to make up a lot of positions here at the end of this run. Because, I mean, if these guys can't push the throttle and they're getting loose off the corner because they have burned off the rear tires, I mean, he'll drive up through the field. It won't even be close. He'll be able to make up quite a few spots. So we'll see it all play out. I like little crafty son of a guns like Randy Mullins, so we'll see. Well, this is the point in the next 2 or 3 laps where Kenny's setup started to fade. You can see him running that outside line, and Kenny knows more than anybody that what his setup is capable of, and it didn't seem like he was very confident in his ability to keep the tires under him. We'll see if any of the changes he made can help alleviate that. And a lot of times the changes need to be made. You need to just tighten up the nut between the wheel and the seat, which is also known as the driver. And just take it easy. Don't push the throttle down. Give it a little bit of less throttle than you would have, and save those rear tires. So it can be done with the throttle. Give up a little bit of time, but you can see he's overtaking Aaron Matthews. Matthews starting to fade here. And now Kenny going to move up to that 3rd position. And Blaine Wilson's starting to tiptoe away as well. So we'll jump back to the back of the pack. Or not the back, but midway back. Randy Mullins now starting to creep back into the picture. Randy Mullins, guess what? Alex Coffey ran a 33.996. That's a 34 flat, basically. Last lap. Randy Mullins ran a 33.6. So if you wonder what Randy Mullins is doing, that is exactly what he's doing. He's only 6 seconds back. So if he can somehow pull 3/10 a lap from here on out to the end of the run, he will make up a lot of spots. And if he saved enough tire, he'll be able to make those passes look really easy, just like he did right there. So 54 fans, don't give up just yet. There may be some life in this 54. Being a little crafty. Got Brandon Fetterplace and Tim Wortman Jr. battling. This is for 11th and 12th. This is right in front of Randy with Jeffrey Taylor in that pink car. Well, I think if we're going to see a caution, I think it's now. It's in the next, I think once we get to lap 45, 50, we're going to see guys in territory they're not aware how the car drives. So in the next, 15 to 20 laps, we're going to see some definite changes in the running order. We'll see who saved enough. That time by Randy Mullins a couple of tenths faster than the leader. So got a lot of cars to make up. But when the tire wear is big like this, it is you really want to, you can really oversave. You can run about 3-4 tenths off the pace early on, and it can make a difference towards the end. Now with the fall off just being about 8 tenths so far versus the best lap to now, it's not enough, I don't think, to try to do any kind of slick 2-stop strategy if you can make it on just one more stop. So I don't think we'll see anybody come down and try to make 2 pit stops. Just not going to be able to make up the time, I don't think. But See, he's getting right to the back bumper of Fetter Place quickly. Up front, though, Kenny Coppola maybe did make some good changes. He is starting to creep up on the 18 of Blaine Wilson. Gonna catch, oh, he's gonna catch Johnny Shade at the worst possible place that you can catch a car, which is right on the exit of the corner. Lap car of Johnny Shade. Gosh, I can't tell you how frustrating. It's not Johnny Shade's fault. He didn't do anything wrong there, but I just can't tell you anything more frustrating, especially when you're dealing with rear grip on exit. To catch a lap car there, you're just trying to keep up with the 18, and you're not able to use the whole track, and it can be frustrating. But and he does a good job now, starting to close in here on the 18. 70 laps to go in this race. Still a pit stop, at least one left. They have gone. We know they can go 45 laps, and I think they can go probably around 50. If I had to guess, I'm thinking you can make it somewhere around 60 laps. That's just a wild guess. We're going to find out together exactly what they can do. Because they can make it 60 laps. That would give them about 20 more, and they can definitely make it from here. So if they make it to 150, we know they can make it the whole way. Well, what a great season this has been. I mean, lots of winners. I think there's only a couple four-time winners. I think that's Kenny Coppola and Brandon Bikey. So there's not been a dominant driver out there that has just been kicking everybody's butt. I think it's been a constant stream of just all kinds of winners and drivers. Now, the playoffs has been pretty wild. Been a lot of issues here in the last month or so, but overall in the season, it was very competitive all the way through. Of course, they mirror the NASCAR schedule, so this is race 34. I have been here since probably race, I don't know, 20 or so, maybe 15, somewhere around in there. And I've enjoyed a lot of these races. I think Martinsville was probably the one I didn't enjoy. That was a tough one to call, but outside of that, it's been pretty incredible. These guys put on fantastic shows, and they know how to race hard. They do get some fisticuffs. I think if you could get out and box, I think there would have been a lot of boxing going on. As I think Jarek Clark come down pit road here. But a long season, long stretch for these guys. If you come away being a champion, they're mirroring the exact same schedule as the NASCAR Cup Series. The only thing that's different is that they run Xfinity Series lengths, so about 300 miles, like what we're doing tonight. So long, grueling season. I mean, this is not easy to do. Thank God this is a hobby, but man, these guys put in a lot of work. They put in a lot of effort each week, running laps, getting these setups just right. I'm sure these guys are ready for the season to be over with. Well, Jared Clark was the first one to come down pit road. He's coming back out on track now. He will go 2 laps down. But he'll be out there on fresh tires. Randy Mullins has moved up into the 9th position, now looking to take over 8th spot. So everybody was worried about Randy, but he's fine. He's just taking his time, making his way through this traffic. Now, he was gaining on the leader, but as he got into this traffic, I mean, Coffee has just clean air out in front of him. Randy Mullins having to make these passes, so he's lost 0.6 to the leader. But when he gets out there by himself, he is way faster than what Alex Coffey is running. So it just depends on how long these guys go, if this strategy is going to work out good. But at the end of the day, Randy doesn't need to wow us. He doesn't need to blow our minds. He doesn't need to win the race. He just needs to maintain, have a good finish, move on to Martinsville and do the same, and he'll be fine. But we're gonna see. We'll see what he does here. Goes to the inside of Wortman, and that's where that saving comes into play, is he doesn't have to fight Wortman that long. His tires are just that much better. It just drives right around it. Makes passing very, very easy. Now he's up to 7. So where's my guy that was worried? Yeah, Doug Seldner says I was wrong. 54 coming now. That's right. Don't count him out, man. Yeah, no issue for the 54. He's just over-saving, knowing that this was going to be a longer run, and you're seeing it play out really well for him. Out front, Alex Coffey out to a 2.2 second lead over his teammate Blaine Wilson, who continues to run in second. Kenny Coppola struggling with the handling of this car. He is likely not going to be able to really gain anything on Blaine here. He's just not able to drive off the corner. He's still having that same issue that he was having before. Sort of a wide exit on the corner, just trying to make up for the fact that he can't get on the throttle. So he can't keep the wheel in. He's having to counter steer. When you counter steer on the throttle, the car is going to sail out to the right a little bit. So first pit stop out of the top 10 is going to be Shane Davis, who comes down pit road with 59 laps to go. So I think that they likely can make it on fuel. We'll see if anybody goes the distance. If I'm Alex Coffey, I'm driving this son of a gun till the fuel runs out. Shane Davis, though, he's going to slide through his pit box, have to back up. That's not good. That's going to lose a ton of time here under green flag conditions. So did not want to do that. So first pit stop of the night, Shane Davis, if they are going to try to go to lap 60 or so, which is about 10 more laps, 60, I mean, on this run, then Shane will make up a ton of spots. However, it will be tough at the end of it, trying to defend against the newer tires. So a little undercut strategy here. Randy Mullins now in the top 5 as he goes around Aaron Matthews. And he is 0.2 of a second faster than everybody except for Alex Coffey, and he was passing another driver. So Kenny Coppola now comes down pit road, gives up the 3rd position. That's 77 coming down pit road. I think this is likely going to be the final stop of the race. I do not see anybody coming back down pit road. So Kenny, very happy to come down and get some fresh rubber. He's been struggling here. Oh, and just barely gets into the box. He stopped pretty late in the box. Look at Randy Mullins now going for 3rd. I would imagine Randy is going to run as far as he can, especially on this strategy. But at the same time, I mean, he has really drove himself into a scenario where he could pit with the rest of these guys. And, hey, he's gained all the track position that he needs. So we'll see what he decides to do. Still losing on Alex Coffey. I don't know if it's going to be a race-winning strategy, but he is definitely in position for a podium, most likely. Waiting to see who out of this little bunch is going to come down pit road and make their final stop of the race. Who's going to pull the trigger? Like I said, Alex Coffey, Blaine Wilson, I think they go the distance here. I think you run it all the way to the end because you definitely don't want to have a caution and get caught a lap down. You're going to lose a little bit of time to Kenny Coppola and those who pit early, but there's still a long way to go in this race. With the gap that Alex Coffey has, I think he can come down pit road late and come back out, and he'll just drive right on by him. So I think those two run the distance. I think Randy Mullins also runs it till it's about to run out of fuel. The undercut strategy used to be the main strategy, but here these days, it just doesn't seem to be the case. And Matt Cox, I'm telling you what, he is fighting for dear life in this 32 machine. I can't tell you how. I'm gonna be honest with you. If y'all don't run iRacing in chat, if you never sat down in a rig and ran it, I promise you with 100% certainty that you could not do what Matt Cox is doing right now, which is not spinning off of the corner while being chased and drove around like he is. It takes a lot of skill to drive the car like this. When he gets on the throttle here, you see that. You'll see the wheel crank. That tape is going to crank over to the middle, and then it's even going to go to the right as he is feathering the throttle, and you can see it yaw to the left a little bit on the exit. I promise you would spin out in this scenario. He is struggling for grip off the corner as we run 55 laps. You can see it right there. He's just, oh my goodness, it is so loose. And then you add on the fact you got Tim Wortman Jr. all over your rear bumper. Well, I'll tell you, Alex Coffey doesn't care what happens. A caution comes out, he'll be fine. Kenny Coppola does not want to see a caution. Shane Davis, Justin Belmont, they do not want to see a caution here. So that's the dangers of coming down pit road early. Is yes, you do get to jump over drivers, make some passes on from pit road, just coming out with fresher tires like that. But if a caution comes out, you're pretty much screwed. And at this point, from here on till when Alex Coffey turns down and comes down pit road, Kenny Coppola, Shane Davis, Justin Belmont are in big, big trouble if a caution does come out. So they are praying that does not happen, because they will not be able to afford to stay out if it does come out in the next few laps. So, they're hoping this goes the distance and we get through the cycle, and they'll be in pretty good shape if it does. I'll tell you what, Matt Cox and Wortman, they're both out of shape and battling hard as Wortman all over the back bumper of Cox. Just no grip there to try to make that pass. He's going to drive up to the outside, and he's going to get that spotter call that I was talking about. Cox going to have to give it to him off the corner. Wortman still right there on his quarter panel. And I think Wortman's going to have it. Look at Belmont here. Cox trying to come down pit road. Belmont almost run over him. Oh, he's going to have to lock it up. Oh, I don't think he got down to pit speed. That could be disastrous for the 32. I don't know if he made sort of a last-second decision there, but man, I don't know. That's going to be close for the 32. We'll see if he gets a penalty or not. But pit stops happening now for top 5 or so. But still waiting on Alex Coffey and Blaine Wilson to bring it down pit road. You can see here is 77. Kenny Coppola. And he is one lap down, so he is trying to get back on the lap. That's another reason why a caution would be disastrous. Not only would he have to come back down pit road, give up all that track position, but also, before right now, he would have been trapped a lap down, which would be even worse. So, love to see green flag pit stops. Oh my goodness, the 15 gets close to the 77 as he's going to drive right around. Whew. Let's go on board with Alex Coffey. We'll watch everybody else who's struggling, is on the struggle bus. How much struggling is Coffey doing? Yeah, same thing. I mean, he's not, he's the fastest car on the track, but you can see he is not, it's not an easy Sunday drive. He is being patient on the throttle. 62 laps on this set of tires. You can see that the rear end just feels light. It wants to come around. But he definitely seems like he's more planted than the others that we've looked at. So, no, duh, you know, maybe he's out front by 4 seconds. So 62 laps that Coffee has run here. Now, when he does come out of pit road, he will be pretty far back. So, obviously, at this point, he can come in at any time. I think once those drivers who was behind him came down pit road, you want to give it another 5 or so laps. That way you're always at an advantage, especially if a caution comes out. They'll have to come back down. Right now, if a caution comes out, they'll be fine. Matt Cox is still a lap down. You see Shane Davis now unlapping himself. He pitted 14 laps ago, so he'll have to come back down pit road as well. Coffee's actually trying to side draft him a little bit to slow him down. No, right now, I mean, I'm supposed to be building up drama, but I'm going to be honest. There's really no scenario that Alex Coffee doesn't come away looking like a champion. I think the only negative thing that could happen to Coffee is him to come down pit road, go out, run 2 or 3 laps, and then caution come out again, but I still think he stays out. He's likely not going to go a lap down when he makes his stop. So, yeah, I mean, really only negative thing for him is if he comes down pit road, runs about 10 laps, and a caution comes out, he'll have to make a tough decision. But really all the scenarios sort of play into the favor of Alex Coffee, Blaine Wilson, and somewhat Randy Mullins. Randy Mullins still about 8 seconds back from the leader. But a lot can happen. We've seen crazier things happen. If I am Alex, though, I don't want to go too much longer. I want to give myself an opportunity to run those guys down who have pitted. Coppola pitted 15 laps ago. Coppola is running 33.3s, which is a second faster than Alex Coffee is. So that's going to be a lot of time. Coffee's going to have to make that up. But I don't want to go too much longer. Give myself the opportunity to make that time up. So here comes Blaine Wilson. I expect to see Alex Coffee come down pit road as well. Randy Mullins has now come down pit road. So expecting to see Coffee. Here he comes. Down on pit road. Don't hit the barrels. Don't speed. That's the one thing you don't want to do. Chris Spear was caught speeding when he came down pit road. So he had a 40-second hold that puts him back in 21st, a couple laps down. That will give the lead over to Jordan Schmeets, who has yet to make his stop at 22. We haven't mentioned him much tonight, but hasn't really been much of a factor that we expect out of the 22. But here he comes down pit road. And we'll see if Chris Davis looks like he is slowing up to come down pit road as well. So I'm just so surprised that Matt Cox did not speed on pit road. He did not get a speeding penalty. And so now that Chris Davis has come down pit road, that will give the lead over to Kenny Coppola with 39 laps to go. And the difference, Alex Coffee, 12 seconds back from Kenny after that pit stop. Shane Davis, 3 seconds back. You see him in that blue car that's just come into the picture. And then Justin Belmont, 8 seconds back from Kenny Coppola. So Kenny is in a good spot here. I mean, he gained a lot of time from that undercut. But Alex Coffee is in 4th. He was able to get around Matt Cox here. Excuse me. Cox with about 8 lap older tires. So Coffee now on the charge. Now, from here on out, it is, I mean, no caution for Coffee. He does not want to see a caution. This played out perfectly for him. He wants to see it go the distance. We already know that Kenny Coppola is going to struggle around lap 35 or so. So he's on lap 20 of this stint now. So he's going to be He's gonna be killing it right here as he blinks out. Good Lord, that's scary. Don't have that happen. He's gonna be scooting right now. He's running very fast lap times, but once that car starts to fade a little bit, Coffee is going to gain quickly. So Coffee has gained about 8/10 so far, but it's going to quickly. It seems like with just, oh, we only got 35 laps to go. Well, Coffee's not going to make up 11 seconds. Yes, he is. All right. It's going to happen. Just win. Could it be on the last lap? Could it be with 10 to go? We don't know. Did Coppola make the right adjustments to help him on the long run that will slow that? Coffee's definitely going to catch him, but when and where, and you know, I mean, anything can happen. The caution comes out, it's null and void. Especially if we run another 5 or so laps, Coffee will have to come back down pit road. So a lot of things can happen here. Kenny Coppola kind of pushing all his cards in. He's going all in on this one and see if it'll work. And it's going to be fun to watch. Blaine Wilson, another one of those drivers, just came down pit road, ran it long. Now going to make a pass here on Aaron Matthews. Try to take over the 6th position. He is a lot of ways back from as Blaine going to pull up in front of Aaron Matthews again. Like Aaron has seen this one before and actually drives down the corner. Now he's going to pull a slider on Blaine Wilson. Blaine got to be careful here. This is not the fight. This is not worth getting wrecked over. These guys can't tell them nothing. They're going to race their guts out. Coffee now 10.2 seconds back from the leader. He's catching him quickly. 0.4 of a second. He was faster as, again, slide job from the 18. Aaron Matthews. Oh, they're blocking now. Oh, my goodness. Aaron Matthews pulled one on him there. They didn't block down to the inside, and Matthews going to go to the outside. We'll see if the tire difference. No, he's not able to do it. So Blaine Wilson just wasting time here. He's got, oh my goodness. Almost a side draft that went wrong there. Aaron Matthews' tires are not old enough for it to really hold him up. I think Blaine kind of assumes that he's going to be that much faster, but I don't think he is. Matthews has been strong on the short run all race long, so he's going to be able to fight back pretty hard. And he knows once Blaine is gone that he's not going to be able to battle him anymore. Blaine should drive away. Maybe Blaine getting a little bit impatient here. I don't know. We got Coffee, though. Caught up to Justin Belmont. And that is a massive tire difference there. Belmont, 24 laps since his stop, 8 laps since Alex Coffey. Go back to this battle as Blaine has not been able to clear him just yet. And, I mean, Blaine is probably in danger of not getting back second if he continues this battle here. They are running about 2/10 slower, about 4/10 slower than what Coffee is, and I think a teammate here might try to throw the block. That's the 13 of Johnny Shade, and he's going to set the pick for his teammate. And the 18 should be able to get clear here, and he has been much better than the 5 on the long run, so he should be able to pull away with that tire difference. 30 laps to go, and Kenny Coppola leads the race. He's got a nice 3.5 second lead over Shane Davis. They're on similar tires. Alex Coffey is just, I mean, he's blasting through this field, and he has made up a ton of time. And the times will start to equalize at some point. Right now is when his advantage is the biggest. So Coffey's got to get all he can get. I mean, he's not going to take any kind of crap from no lap cars. The lap cars better get out of his way because he is going to use them up here because this is the perfect time for Coffey to make up that distance. You can't afford to waste any time. You're going to see he's going to drive down to the inside of Chris Spear here after that Chris had that speed and penalty. And he catches him right where he doesn't want to. drives right on by Chris Spear. And that time by Alex Coffey, even with that, was 0.7 of a second faster than Kenny Coppola, who does have some lap traffic. Chris Davis. Chris Davis, a playoff round of 8 driver, needing to come in here and try to get a win. We talked to him before the race, and just hasn't panned out like he wanted it to. Right now, just trying to stay on the lead lap. He pitted about 11 laps ago. Well, Justin Belmont looks like he might have a pretty decent finish here. He's probably going to lose at least one spot to Blaine, maybe Tim Wortman and Randy Mullins by the end of this race. So he's going to come out with a 7th place finish. It's not going to be good enough, I don't think. He's got such a massive, earlier in the season we had 38 to 40 cars show up. Right now, in the playoffs, there's always this big drop off. If somebody doesn't make the playoffs, a lot of these guys will just quit. I don't know what it is about certain leagues. I guess if you're not invested in the community, you come in here, you try to get into the championship, you don't make it, you just quit the league. I see these guys that have been running up front, been players, winning races, and they'll quit, just leave the Discord and everything. So we're only having about 26 drivers, 25, and with a 41-point deficit, the cutoff. Finishing 7th or 8th, it's not going to be good enough for Belmont. He's going to have to go up there and win. As Alex Coffey has now caught up to 2nd place, Shane Davis. And, it's going to be quick work. See the difference. Not even close. And so with 24 laps to go, Coffey has a 4.6 second gap back to up to Kenny Coppola. He's chipping away at it pretty quickly. At the rate that he was running, he should catch him in probably about 20 laps or so. It's going to be close. I think he'll catch him about 15, maybe less. Now that he's got some clean air, we'll see the times at the line. Kenny Coppola runs a 33.9 last lap. Coffey a 33.5, so that's about 0.4 better. This will be the best litmus test on how this is going to play out. 33.996 for Kenny Coppola. Alex Coffey at 33.3, so exactly 0.6 of a second faster. So do the math. He's going to catch him in just a few laps, actually. It may not even be 10 or 15. However, I can't stress enough that Kenny Coppola made a great call here. Never know what can happen. And getting out front is a great thing to, it's great to be out front. So if you can be out front, you never know what Coffey has to deal with lap traffic or passing, even lead lap folks trying to get back up to you. There's all kind of things that can go wrong. And so if we stay green, Kenny is for sure going to get a second place. I don't think there's anybody, I don't think Blaine is close enough to make up that difference. So Kenny going to sort of jump ahead of Blaine Wilson there with that pit strategy. So I think it worked out pretty well for him. I don't think he's going to be able to do anything with Coffey here. I mean, obviously his long run woes have been well documented so far in this race, but still a great run out of Kenny Coppola. Great point stay to make up the difference with the issue with Brandon Bikey. I mean, there's so many storylines that we could talk about. And there still could be a late race caution that could change everything. So it's not over just yet, although we have been caution-free here tonight. So cool to see that as we do cross over into the 2-hour mark in this race. So thankful that it is going to be caution-free. Well, out front, you can see Kenny Coppola in the distance. 0.6 of a second faster last lap was Alex Coffey, so still maintaining that same gap. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be the next 5 laps. Coffey will catch up to the 77. There goes Blaine Wilson. And Matt Cox. Blaine has done such a good job today that the points is going to be interesting. He's not going to make up any points on Randy Mullins, really. He's not going to make up any points on Alex Coffey, obviously, or Matt Cox. He's going to make up. I mean, he's going to make up a few points there. But Blaine is still going to be in a heavy points penalty going into the final race, with Bikey having his trouble and Blaine, having some good stage finishes. And if he can finish in the top 3, he will be likely right there on the cutoff. But I think it just depends on how the stage points goes. Bikey didn't get any stage points, but everybody in front of him did a great job. I think Mullins will kind of pull back towards Matt Cox and Alex Coffey. I think Coffey and Mullins will be very close in points once this race is over with. But I still think Blaine, I don't think this is good enough. I think he's going to have to go to Martinsville with the idea that I got to go win. And I think if a caution does come out, I think he's got to be thinking about getting to this 3rd position, being in position where he can try to get a win here tonight. That would make things a whole lot better. Well, here it is. Blaine Wilson going to go down to the inside of Shane Davis. But here is the battle for the lead. Kenny Coppola, tires 42 laps old on the 77. I mean, he's going to start to really not be happy. He still has 15 laps to go. 25 laps on Alex Coffey's tires, so it will be not much of a fight. Coffey just too big of an advantage here. And I don't know how hard Coppola really is going to fight. I think he's not going to have much of a choice here. Here comes the 15 with a massive run. He is going to jump up in front of him, but it's not going to matter, as Coffey's going to have such a massive run. And there it is, Coffey. In just 26 laps, he'll retake the lead, and he will pull away with just 14 laps to go. And at this rate, Blaine could possibly catch Kenny. So Kenny did the right thing by not fighting too hard there. It's going to be close for Blaine. He's going to have to really hustle. I don't think it's worth it for second. I think you want to keep that 18 car pointed straight. But yeah, if caution comes out, Blaine's, you got to go for it. You got to forget your teammate. You got to kind of go for the win here. But he's doing everything he can. I mean, it's been an incredible, I know I've talked about him quite a bit, but honestly, if I had to pick the star of the playoffs so far, it has been Blaine Wilson. And, if trends continue, he'll win at Martinsville and make it into the round of 4. Go back a little bit further. There is Randy Mullins, who, Paul Gallimore down to the inside wall. It hangs on to it, but almost that caution that Coffey did not want to see right there. That was scary. But go ahead, talking about Randy Mullins, he is going to be up into the 6th position very soon. And he has the fresh tires and nothing but time, about 10 laps of worth. Aaron Matthews is going to fight there on the outside, but I think Randy is going to clear him. So Randy just going to have a couple drivers in between him and Blaine Wilson that he can maybe get to with just 10 laps to go. So we'll see if he can make up the difference. 2.5 seconds is what he's got to do. And Shane Davis has really been off the pace, so he shouldn't have trouble catching him. Shane Davis has been on the track for 49 laps, but his tires are about ready to explode. Well, the 15 is now out to a 2-second lead over Coppola, who is trying to maintain this second position. You see Blaine Wilson in the distance, 5.8 seconds back, or excuse me, 3.7 seconds back, running 0.3 faster a lap. The fastest car on the track is Randy Mullins. I think right now the biggest gainer is going to be Randy Mullins the last 10 laps, as he's got two drivers right in front of him that are struggling at the moment, and he is doing really well. $3D88 in the chat said yellow. Make a lot of people mad saying that. Couple drivers back here in outside the top 10 battling as Jeffrey Taylor to the back bumper of Nick King. Nick King is a lap down to these drivers, so not quite for position. Nick gonna get a little bit loose there. I don't know if he was trying to move out of the way or if he got loose, one of the two. We're gonna let those guys go. That's Justin Belmont there, who came down early, did that little early pit strategy, and he is struggling right now on those older tires. Fall back to 12th. Randy Mullins starting to creep in on these two drivers. Shane Davis going to be the first victim. These are the longest laps for Alex Coffey. And all he can think about is, man, please don't wreck. Please don't wreck. And you know it's going to happen. It always happens. And you're just sitting there thinking about it, going, please don't bring out a caution. Don't bring out a caution. And that's all you can think about right now. You're trying to hit your marks, but you just don't want that caution to come out. Mullins will take over that fifth position and still has Matt Cox to go get. Try to get that fourth spot. But the big stories in this race, Brandon Bikey, who came in just -2 to the cutoff. Disastrous start to the race. Some sort of wheel issue that his wheel just was not connecting, wasn't working. He wasn't even able to take the green flag. Came back out on track multiple laps down. It just didn't work out in his favor, and he called it quits. So that puts him into almost a must-win. I think we're going to go into, I mean, Blaine Wilson has done the best out of the other drivers that are below the cutoff. So, we'll see how close it is, but everybody that he is trying to catch up to that's above the cutoff is going to finish in front of him or right behind him. So he's not going to gain too much on those guys. And he was negative 21 back from the cutoff. So we're going to go into the race next week with 4 drivers below the cutoff that are in a must-win situation. So that's going to be an intense race all the way around. And you know what? If I'm Alex Coffey, I am thrilled. As you see, Blaine Wilson was able to catch up to Kenny Coppola. We'll see if he can take that position. But if I'm Alex Coffey, I'm thrilled. White flag is out. One more lap to go for Alex Coffey because he's not going to have to worry about that. You got 4 drivers that are going to be in must-win situations at Martinsville. The paperclip. One of the scariest races of the season we've had so far, and it's going to be the cutoff for the final 4 desperate drivers, but there's going to be one that's going to be calm, cool, and collected, and that's going to be Alex Coffey through 3 and 4, one final time. He's going championship racing. Alex Coffey, he's going to win here at Homestead. Locks himself into the championship 4. Alex Coffey does it here at Homestead in dominant fashion. He came out today with the best setup, the best drive, and there's no doubt about it. He was the best car tonight. Win stage number 1, win stage number 2, and the race. That's the sweep, baby. Max points for Alex Coffey, and he'll take the victory here tonight. 132 laps led for the 15 as Blaine Wilson will send him for a 360. Blaine Wilson does get second place, so about as good as it could go for the 18. Kenny Coppola comes home in 3rd, Matt Cox in 4th, and Randy Mullins rounds out your top 5. Could not quite get Matt Cox there at the end. About a 10th, he was behind him coming to the line. Justin Belmont comes home in 13th. Chris Davis in 14th. So top 4 that came into in the race, they did exactly what they needed to do. Blaine Wilson did a little extra outside the cutoff, and so it's going to be interesting to see what the point situation looks like. But it doesn't matter for Alex Coffey; he's locked in. He is racing at Phoenix. Just a dominant performance. Caution free. You know, we talk trash whenever it's a caution fest. We laugh and make fun whenever these guys have a rough race where there's a lot of cautions, a lot of wrecks. We should praise them whenever there are 0 cautions. It says 2 up there, but that was stage break. Outside of that, no cautions on the speedway. And with these guys dealing with loose conditions, to not have more self-spins, pretty impressive. So golf clap, round of applause for the field tonight, doing a great job and going caution free here in this one. So let's take a look at your results, and then we'll get in some interviews, and then we will call it tonight. Shane Davis comes home in 6th. Tim Morton Jr. in 7th. Aaron Matthews in 8th. Paul Gallimore in 9th. Brandon Fetterplace rounds out your top 10. In 11th is Jeffrey Taylor. Jordan Schmeets in 12th. Justin Belmont in 13th. Chris Davis in 14th. Barry Sanders in 15th. Nigel Christensen in 16th. Nick King in 17th. 18th, Jameson Middle Miss. Chris Spear in 19th. Johnny Shea rounds out your top 20. 21st, Jared Clark, Ed Bowles Jr., Brandon Bikey in 23rd. 24th is Warren Young. 25th, Matt Mackin, and Cade Norfrey rounds out your field. Well, let's bring them up into the booth. Let's talk to them and see what they thought about the race. And we're, of course, going to start with the winner, Alex Coffey. Alex, is Eddie in the booth? Got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Well, we talked to you after stage 1. You felt pretty confident about your car, and boy, it was a rocket ship here tonight. You led 132 laps, won both stages, won the race. That is max points, and it doesn't even matter because you're locked into the championship 4. How's it feel?
It feels good. The car was definitely on the rails. Shout out to Blaine for running second. He was quick all night. I think with a better starting spot, he would have definitely been up there um, throughout the whole race the same way. So
Well, now your thoughts can move away from Martinsville. You're not worried about that. I mean, obviously that's got to be, and we had 30, I think 36 cautions flew in the spring Martinsville race here. So you came into this race +7. Now you're locked into the final four. I mean, it's got to feel really good to not have to worry about next week.
yeah, definitely Martinsville's not where you want to be under pressure. That's for sure. It's easy to get wrecked or wreck yourself. So if it's good not to go in there with any pressure on me. Really, just trying to have fun.
Well, I got to tell you, Alex, we need to get through this interview, and I don't need you to be too excited, okay? I need you to calm down just a little bit. I told them on the broadcast, you're one of the most calm, cool, collected guys. I don't know if you get excited or you get too high, get too low. You're pretty calm, and I think that's why you're able to drive this car off the right rear all night long, dealing with the same thing everybody else was, but you dominated this race and kicked their ass, and that was just an ass whooping. So congratulations on the win. Congratulations on racing for a championship. No surprise. Who do you have to thank?
Yeah, I'm definitely. I'd say it's more exhaustion than me not hype. But yeah, thanks to all my teammates, Blaine, Johnny, and Nigel, and Caden. Shout out to EPI for the great set tonight, and shout out to my mom for watching, me for doing the broadcast, and the admins for putting the league on every week.
All right. Well, there you have it. Your winner, your first championship Ford driver, Alex Coffey, takes the victory here tonight. And then we'll talk to your second place finisher, Blaine Wilson. We talked to him before the race. And Blaine, you seemed like you had a pretty fast piece here tonight. You did everything you could do. A lot of folks having trouble below the cutoff. You did about as good as you can do. I mean, the only thing that hurt your race is the fact that your teammate was in front of you, and if he wouldn't have been there, you might have won this race. But going into Martinsville, you're gonna have, everybody that was above you still finished shorter around you. You're still gonna have being a must-win situation. But anyway, talk to me about the car tonight. Talk about that drive. Impressive run for you here tonight.
Yeah, they put a piece under me tonight. This thing was bad to the bone fast, and it just never fell off. Nothing as the track changed, as the tires wore, the car never changed at all. You could just keep running the same line over and over. And I hate Homestead. Like I said, this is the second time ever running this place, and I didn't do no practice laps, but it worked out, I guess, in my favor. So I was hoping the teammate there would blow up on that last lap. That was the original plan, but I guess he wanted to take it. So yeah, I'm kind of screwed next week, but you know what happens at the cutoff races, so we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, well, I mean, great effort by Dig Esports tonight. I mean, you guys came ready to roll, and roll y'all did, taking the top two spots, and taking advantage of guys having trouble. I mean, you're doing the best that you can do. I mean, you were in a hole there, -21 below the cutoff, and I assume that just kind of goes to the stage points and stuff that people are collected throughout the season that you didn't have. And you're doing the best you can. I mean, you're making the best. I mean, outside of winning, you can't really do much better than you did tonight. So, congratulations on a great finish. Looking forward to seeing you win next week at Martinsville and racing for a championship.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I know it'll probably be another caution fest. Well, maybe not. We've been doing good in the playoffs, I feel like, for caution, so hopefully we can keep it together, but I'm ready to get punted and punt some other people, so balls to the wall next week, so we'll see what happens.
There you go. Well, thank you for talking to me. Who do you have to thank here tonight?
Shout out everyone on Dig, Johnny, Nigel, uh, everybody that worked together here, keeping me cool, teaching me what to do since I had no idea what I was doing out there. Shout out to you for this wonderful broadcast. It's always great to watch. And the league owners, Barry, putting on the host tonight. So it's a ton of fun, and we'll go get her next week.
All right. Well, there you have it. Second place finisher, Blaine Wilson. And we'll get Kenny Coppola up into the booth and bring him in here and talk to him. Kenny, this Eddie in the booth got a copy.
What's going on, Eddie?
Well, not the day that you wanted to have. Obviously, you would love to get that victory in Martinsville, not be be sort of an afterthought. But you came in here and you missed the setup just a little bit, which is rare. And when I say missed it a little bit, you finished third. So that's not, I mean, that's not really missing it, but you were definitely loose on the long run. So you come in, Mikey had his trouble, which gives you a little bit of breathing room going into the Martinsville race, but nothing is guaranteed there. But tonight you fought through the issue that you were having, and you came home with third place. Are you happy with that result? Are you disappointed? What are the thoughts just right after you finish this one?
I'm happy. I got decent points tonight. I think I expanded my lead over the cutoff line. I don't know by how many. Just upset with myself for being foolish and making changes that I hadn't tried all week, and it kind of just came back to bite me there, and just completely wasted any long run speed I had in the car. I was feeling pretty good up until I knew the very first lap of the race I screwed up because the car already wanted to come around on me. So I pretty much just sat there and fought it the whole night to come home and finish third with a ill handling race car, especially a next gen race car. Is It's not easy. I'm sweating. Alex was absolutely flawless tonight. Congrats on the win. He just put on a hell of a race tonight. I don't think any of us were going to touch him, whether the setup was good or not. That boy put the work in this week and he was on fire.
Yeah, well, for sure about that. And it's these type of moments I was talking about in the race. This is a 36, 36 race schedule. It's a long ass schedule. It's a lot of racing, and of course you were out for a few of them, but still, I mean, you were made a majority of them. And to get hit down to the end, I mean, there's no quit. You can't quit at this point. You have a bad setup, you got to fight hard, and that's what you did, man. And that's those championship type runs. You got to stay in it, and you did exactly that. So, man, congratulations on turning what could have potentially been a bad day into a good one, making the right strategy calls, and getting that third place and kind of extending that points lead over the gap, like you said. So, congratulations on that third place, Kenny. As always, who do you have to thank?
First and foremost, want to thank my wife for supporting what I do, taking time away from the family and allowing me to get on here, turn laps and build setups. And then all the guys at Beast Mode talking me through it. I was frustrated from lap one and they helped me keep a cool head. I want to thank my sponsors, Kistler, Rods, Martin, Sports Boomer, Button Box, uh, Team Watson Race and Setups is who I build for. And want to thank you for putting these on. It'll be enjoyable to go back and watch this one and see if there's anything I could have done differently during the pit stops. And thanks to all the wonderful fans that show up on Wednesday nights and come and watch these.
All right. There you have it. Kenny Coppola turning could have been a bad night into a good one and taking home a third place finish. And that's a championship type mentality there for Kenny Coppola. But that's going to be due. That's gonna do it for us tonight. What a great race. Alex Coffey dominated here tonight. And Ragin Cajun, Bail Bonds, thank them for being the sponsor here tonight. And thank all the admins, everybody here at Moonshiners for what they do. I want to thank Adam Baker and Bradley Cooper for all they do over at V-Speed. If you're not subscribed, sure would appreciate us. Click the subscribe, click the like button, and all that kind of stuff. Yada, yada. That helps. All right, that's going to be it tonight. OB Builders Cup Series here at Homestead. Alex Coffey locks himself into the championship 4. He'll go championship racing no matter what. Everybody else going to be clobbered into the paperclip next week. Come out and see it. It's going to be something. We'll see how it goes. Y'all have a good night. See you.